Chapter 21. First Impressions. Adam invited Verona and Lincoln into the small room. Even though Verona had her own assigned cabin, she decided to accept the invitation. Without any specific direction from a sir, Verona was now just going with the flow and looking for signs to be revealed to her to get them to the Moon Woman. She figured it would be easier to have things revealed to her if she was around people as opposed to sitting alone. Entering the room, she immediately noticed the necklace the little girl was wearing. It had a little crescent moon on it, just like the story a sir had told them. This has to be a sign, Verona thought, but at the same time, she didn't know how she felt about Adam. He seemed so closed off, and the way that he punched that man so easily was a little disconcerting. But Verona needed a way to blend in, and she thought a compartment full of kids may just be their best option. Lincoln quickly sat down in an open seat, not looking at anyone. As he put his headphones back on, he pulled his hat low and pushed play on his iPod. Soon, he was humming a tune, although no one could hear it over the roar of the train's engine. Verona, on the other hand, didn't wait for anyone to be introduced. "I'm Verona, and this is my little brother Lincoln." The little girl with the moon necklace smiled and said, "It is great to meet you both. I'm Lake Worthy." "Verona Destin," the 12-year-old repeated, as she confidently reached out and offered Lake her hand. After the two girls shook hands, Verona turned her eyes directly toward the other boy and smiled. He turned and looked at Adam and Lake, as if to silently ask a question. Adam nodded, and Verona thought she heard Lake mumble, "Yes, she can see you." The boy stood up and gave a slight bow, saying, "Jack, it's a pleasure," before doing a 360-degree pirouette on his heels and sitting back down. Verona immediately got the feeling that Jack was the funny one out of the trio. Verona had gotten a good vibe from Lake and Jack, but was not convinced about Adam. Verona looked back at Adam and politely said, "I really like your shirt. Star Wars is my favorite movie," in an attempt to break the barrier she felt between herself and the tall preteen. Simply put, she wasn't sure what to think of him. Adam smiled and responded, "Thanks, mine too." Then they both said at the same time, "It would be so cool to be a Jedi." The timing, as well as the absurdity of the comments, made the whole cabin giggle. The five of them rode the train, talking for a couple more hours. Adam again talked about their journey to find their grandmother, whom Lake had never met and he didn't remember meeting. Jack talked about his adventures away from home, and Verona talked about their neighbor Asur and their search for the mysterious Moon Woman. Adam was intrigued by Verona's story, but there was a part of him that thought her story of a mysterious Moon Woman magically appearing to them was a little out there. He asked Verona question after question. "How are you supposed to know if you're even heading in the right direction, or if you've gone too far or far enough? Why didn't you call the police or the hospital? What are you supposed to do if you find this Moon Woman anyway?" Verona had asked herself these same questions 100 times. She had always been so smart, but she honestly didn't know how to respond to any of them. She knew she had taken a leap of faith, setting out on this journey, and she understood that it was most likely an extremely foolish thing to do, but her instincts were to trust Asur and get him the help he requested. Verona felt like she was being interrogated and judged, and her dislike for Adam grew with each question he asked. Then Verona pointed out the obvious and reminded Adam that he was basically a fugitive from the law, and he had made his little sister an accomplice. Adam stopped asking questions and regretted inviting her into the cabin, but decided to keep his mouth shut about it at least for now. Eventually, the train came to a stop. Jack and Lake, who were sitting closest to the windows, looked out wondering aloud. "Where are we?" Soon, all the inhabitants of the cabin were looking out the windows. It was very dark, and all they could see were very tall trees. They could only see in one direction, but it did not appear that they were at a train station or, as far as they could tell, anywhere near civilization. Verona knew that this was not a scheduled stop. After a couple of minutes, an announcement blared over the intercom system. "May I have your attention, please? We are very sorry for the inconvenience. There has been a mudslide completely burying the tracks up ahead. This appears to have been caused by severe weather in the area. Due to the mudslide and the weather, we cannot go any further. For your safety, all passengers will need to remain on the train until morning. In the morning, we will once again assess the situation. We are hoping to have a better idea of how long it will take to clear the tracks and resume our trip. Everyone is welcome to remain on the train, where you have lodging and food available to you. However, if it is necessary to leave the train, we have staff who will take you to a nearby town just a couple of miles west of our location. There, you'll be able to make arrangements for alternative travel or lodging until the tracks are cleared if you wish. At this time, the extent of the damage and the time needed to clear the tracks is unknown. Once again, we should know more in the morning. Then, we'll make another announcement and give instructions on how to exit the train if necessary. Thank you, and once again, we apologize for the inconvenience." Adam and Verona slightly wondered how long this would delay them. Verona was worried about a Sir, and Adam was worried about his parents. Jack didn't seem too fazed for the moment, while Lincoln scooted closer to Verona, visibly shaken. Lake just stared at the floor, wondering, like the rest of them, how in the world did they find themselves in this situation? Verona was a natural leader. She suggested, "Well, there is nothing we can do tonight. We may as well get some sleep, and we can gather more information tomorrow." Adam silently agreed, because there was nothing else they really could do anyway. But he was annoyed that the girl they had just met was giving the orders and making the decisions for the group. He clumsily added, "Jack and I will try to figure out where we are. Come on, Jack." Adam opened the door and stepped out into the hallway. Jack looked at Verona, who seemed to be put off by Adam's plans to exclude her. He shrugged and got up to follow his tall, slender friend. Everyone else settled in for the night. The small cabin was equipped with 4 beds, 2 benches, and 2 fold-down cots that were higher up on the walls above the benches. When they were pulled down, they doubled as bunk beds. The beds were small, which meant if Verona and Lincoln stayed in the room, someone would need to sleep on the floor. Out in the corridor, Jack began. "Okay, what's the plan?" But Adam was just mumbling to himself and seemed lost in thought. After another minute, Jack forcefully said, "Adam, where are you right now, bro?" Adam finally broke his vacant gaze and looked at his companion. "What?" "The plan. We're trying to figure out where we are." "What's your plan?" Jack explained. Adam complained through gritted teeth. "Who does she think she is?" "Confused," Jack said. "Who? Verona? Am I missing something?" Adam realized that no one else had a problem with the girl. He frowned and said, "No, it's nothing. Let's just get some sleep." Jack realized that was the only plan they had. He lightly tapped Adam's shoulder and agreed. "Okay, buddy." As they slid the cabin door open and re-entered the compartment, Verona and Lincoln were walking out of the door as Adam and Jack were walking in. Adam asked, "Where are you going?" "We have our own cabin. Lincoln and I will sleep there, and we can meet up in the morning if you want to, that is," Verona said as she continued walking. Jack called after them, "Be careful and let us know if you need anything." Adam didn't say a word. He just watched them walk to their cabin, about 7 doors down, and the next car behind them, as he slowly slid his door shut.